Good morning, scholars. Today we're going to continue our march through Far's Homeric Greek, a book for beginners, by continuing our discussion of the first declension. Now, first declension nouns show some variation. We've already learned the nouns that have eta throughout the singular: boule, boules, boule, boulain. Okay? But now we're going to see that sometimes there's an alternation between eta and alpha in the singular of first declension nouns. So, stems in long alpha are masculine or feminine. We'll visit the masculine nouns in another lesson soon. The feminine nominative ends in long alpha, short alpha, or eta. And we've seen boule, eta. Now we're going to see the long A and short A, alpha, long alpha and short alpha. Okay? So our example nouns are gαῖα, θάλασσα, and γαῖα. And you see from that second element that the genitive of these, gαῖα, the alpha is retained, gαῖας. In θάλασσα, the eta asserts itself, θάλασσα, θάλασσες. And in γαΐα, the eta again asserts itself, γαΐα, γαΐες. So we will be looking more closely at this now. So these singulars, you see, looking at them, that when the eta asserts itself, it does so in the dative and genitive singulars. Okay? So gαΐα, gαΐας, gαΐ, gαΐον, where the alpha is consistent throughout. θάλασσα, θάλασσες, θάλασσαι, θάλασσαν, where the eta appears in the genitive and dative singular. And γαΐα, γαΐες, γαΐαι, γαΐον, where again the eta appears in the singular of the genitive and the dative. Now, thank God, these in the plural, these nouns decline exactly as boule did, so there's nothing to worry about there. And these are the same endings that you should have already mastered. Okay, dei, deaon, deese, deas, etc., all the way across. Now, you shouldn't despair and think that this is totally random. There are some general rules that define which types of nouns have this alternation between alpha and eta, and Smythe gives these rules at 217. So at 217a he says, if the nominative singular ends in alpha preceded by a vowel, as in skia, shadow, or by rho, as in moira, the alpha is kept throughout the singular. Okay, so in these example nouns, gαΐα, you have a alpha preceded by a vowel, epsilon, so that the alpha remains consistent through the singular. Okay, moira is a good example of this occurring when you have a rho, and we'll see this in a second. Okay, B, if the nominative singular ends in alpha preceded by a consonant that's not rho, then alpha is changed to eta in the genitive and dative singular. Okay, and if the nominative singular ends in eta, eta is kept in all cases of the singular. So that's what we saw with boule, boules. Okay. So moving to the forward with the general rules at 218, Smythe informs us that substantives with short alpha have short alpha in the nominative, accusative, and vocative singular, but long alpha in the genitive and dative singular if they are formed with ea or tria, denoting feminines. So very interestingly, basileia, queen, is to be distinguished from basileia, kingdom. And it's just a matter of that alpha being short that distinguishes between these two words, and that short alpha of queen is, of course, as well marked by the fact that the acute can go all the way back to the anti-P note, the third from the last syllable. And likewise, saltria, a female harp singer, this suffix marking a female agent ends with a short alpha, and the long alpha will appear in the genitive and dative singular. Likewise, feminines of adjectives in us, these are found at Smythe 297, glucus, glucea, glucu. We'll get to those down the road, but that's another place where the alpha is short in the nominative, accusative, and vocative singular, but long in the dative and genitive singular. Okay. Likewise, going to 219.1, substantives that have sigma, and sigma including the double consonants we learned, sk, ks, sa, and double s. And the difference between double sigma and double tau is the difference between the Ionic and the Attic dialect. If you think of Attic, A-T-T-I-C, the double taus there are characteristic of that dialogue, of that dialect. Okay? So Musa, with a short alpha, will show the alternation, as will Hamaksa and Glosa. Okay? And likewise, substantives that have zda, like trapezda, will show that alternation as well between alpha, short alpha, and eta in the genitive and dative singular. Likewise, substantives ending in double lambda, like hamala, contest, will show the variation. And so too, the alpha iota new suffix of a female leina, a lioness, will show the variation as well. Likewise, 219.2 of Smythe, certain abstracts in ea or oya, which comes from adjectives in ace or os, like aletheia or eunoia, these two will have that variation and have the short alpha in the nominative, vocative, and accusative of the singular. Likewise, most substantives in ra, after a diphthong or a long u, so moira, fate, and gepura, bridge, these two. So, if you're a person to make lists and that type of thing, you might want to make these just so you can collect them all up as you begin to see them. But it's good to know that it's not entirely random. So finally, we end with our vocabulary for this chapter 4, lesson 4. And we start with two adverbial particles, gar and de, which are both postpositive. Gar in the sentence translates for, in fact, and gives the reason for the previous sentence. I love Lucy, for she has a sweet disposition and beautiful green eyes. The gar would be the second word in that second sentence that explains the reason for the first sentence. De is probably the most common particle in Greek, but, and, so, for, also. If you open up your Gospel of Mark, you'll see that da, as Jesus goes about his thing, connecting one sentence to another. Then you have the prepositions ek, x, that x will occur before a rough breathing, or before vowels, sorry. And the treacherous epi, which adverb and preposition, a preposition that takes objects in the genitive, dative, or the accusative, and is actually the most complex preposition in Greek, as the variety of definitions shows. To, at, upon, against, over, for, or adverbio, upon, thereupon, with, in the genitive, upon, over, during, with the dative, upon, in, for, about, against, at, besides, by, to, up to, over, upon. The basic idea of genitive is like skim on the top of my milk, something on top of something, but I got very frustrated trying to figure out epi, and actually at one point copied out the entire entry in the big Liddell Scott dictionary in order to, along with all the examples, to get my mind around it. It's a very difficult preposition to master. Okay, then you have ese, este, which are the third person, plural and singular respective of the verb to be. So they are, there are, he, she, or it is, there is, ese, este, and these are enclitics. Both of these forms are enclitics. Then you have thalassa, te'a, which we've seen, kila, which is a town in the Troad, ook, ook, and that ook will occur before an aspirated vowel. Patres, fatherland, native land. Pale, okay, much, many, numerous. They're just giving you the feminine form of the adjective because that's all we've learned so far. Pures, a funeral pyre. And suitcase, soul, breath, life, or spirit. So that's lesson 4 of Far's Homeric Greek. Good luck with your studies. Work hard, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for subscribing and for being interested. Have a wonderful day.